Welcome to Open Up Forum. Where we talk about everything, anything, and everything. And give you got a perspective on it. We come in with a laughter today because we silly like that. But
the wrong number.
we just counting in today, man. And we picking up numbers.
7, 10, 4.
Oh my goodness.
The wrong numbers.
All my life is my co-host
What's up, people?
Ronald McConaughey Head.
Amen.
And our boy Matt is our engineer. He over there chilling. One day we gonna fan the camera to Matt. So I know everybody trying to wonder.
Yeah, we gonna catch Matt eating.
Yeah, Matt got a hidden identity.
He never eaten.
He always got a hidden identity, almost like Batman.
Almost like Batman. But
today, man, I just want to talk about. We got what's the topic again?
We got a lot of topics today.
Yeah, but
God is using Trump.
Ignorance
in America, and an honest review of the movie Sinners.
Yeah, an honest review, because we both watched Sinners. Sinners is pretty good. But anyway,
let's start with Trump.
We'll start today with Trump, because Trump started. He got his 100-day evaluation on Tuesday. Tuesday was a evaluation, and ABC did a nice interview with him. He accepted to do. He accepted it. But it was good to see the ignorance.
He said it
was good to see that Trump ain't changed. He ain't changed a bit.
He ain't planning on changing anytime soon.
Man.
It was disappointing.
It was, the lies flowed. They just flowed
like water.
Right at the beginning of the interview.
Like a dam that just busted.
My thing is he just busted out with lies from the jump. Like when he started with economy, they started with economy. If you didn't see the video, please watch the whole video. It's probably about an hour long, maybe 45 minutes. Yeah, please watch the interview.
Baby, please
see it, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean,
it's sad.
It's really sad. I mean, but it just tells us how lies just flow out his mouth, and how he deceiving the country. He's doing no wrong. He's the perfect president. He says that as far as the economy, he did no wrong. He said
true. He said that.
This what kills me. He said Biden was messing up the country.
Yeah.
But experts say Biden was doing a good job. Everything was on course to be good.
Not just experts.
Yeah.
Republicans, Democrats, and independent experts in the field of the economy were all united in their complete diagnosis of the Biden economics.
Yeah, because basically
with one glitch.
Yeah.
With one glitch.
But
inflation. That's it.
Inflation. Yep. Inflation was the glitch, but that was even coming down. That was going on a downward. It was holding, but it should have went down if your boy Trump would have did, stuck to the plan, or just stuck to the plan and left it alone. But
you know what I'm realizing about Trump? He is one not holding to the plan, dude.
Trump ain't got no plan. That's what you're talking. Holding the plan. He ain't got no plan.
He doesn't stick with the plan.
Anybody that'll put a tariff on and then take it away, and then put it back on, then take it away, because today it's supposed to be 25% tariffs on auto parts, automation, on automobile parts, export, import.
Right.
Come on, man.
And what happened with that?
That starts today.
Oh, it hits today.
Yeah, it hits
12 o'clock midnight.
It hits.
That would be tomorrow. That would be tomorrow. Technically,
but
it wasn't supposed to be 12 o'clock this afternoon. It was supposed to hit.
Well, according to NBC, I watched it this morning.
Yeah,
the weekend. It's supposed to start today. It starts today, and the 25% tariffs on export import with the automobile parts. So on that note, man, don't nobody know. See, the thing with the tariffs and him taking them off, putting them back on, taking them off, and then have certain incentives, what he want to do with it. This is legal, this not legal. He don't want this to happen. This is all Trump's doing. I mean, he got advisors to tell him this ain't gonna work, but he's just ignoring them. He's just doing what he want to do. And that ain't
nothing new.
And that's not a plan to me. that's not a plan. And then he don't want to share what he's doing because he don't know what he's doing. He playing everything by ear to me. Now this to me, he playing everything by ear. What he see, and then he's like, you notice he ain't announced this 25% starting today. He put it all written it down and let it play out. Because every time you make announcements, the stock market go crazy. We know that from the last one.
Yeah, we know that.
When the stock started dropping, people lost a lot of money. But all I'm saying is, man, there's no plan to his strategy he has. I don't think there's a plan. I think he's playing everything by ear with the country and what that looked like. So in that interview, economy, he was just saying Biden had everything messed up. He came in and fixed it with tariffs.
True.
So I just ask you people what you think. That's crazy to me. There's also after economy, he went to deportation. He went to deportation of snatching immigrants. And he said he getting all the criminals. What he said he did in his campaign, what he's gonna do in his campaign. He said he's getting rid of all the criminals, all the murderers, and thieves, and rapists, and he's getting rid of all those people and sending them to El Salvador to a prison. My question is, how we plan the El Salvadorian president to hold these prisoners? What money we using? Anybody say nothing about that?
Yeah, a lot of people not talking about the fact that, first of all, I didn't even know we were paying them. So you told me. I was like, really?
Yeah.
We was paying them. I was like, I didn't know. I had no idea that, because it's not really being reported that we're paying them.
Yeah.
Definitely not in the mainstream media. Definitely not from the far right media. You're not gonna find that anywhere, because that would be a definite punch in the face to those who are supporting Trump, because the whole point of Trump being in office was to what? Root out fraud. Stop overspending. Correct me if I'm wrong. Those are two of the major threes, right? The other one was immigration. So root out fraud, stop overspending, and immigration, get immigration under control. Those are the three things that they called our quote unquote mandates that the American public so-called elected him to operate and perform. I had no knowledge that we were paying the El Salvadorian president millions of dollars. Wait a minute. Millions of dollars to house our deportees.
Yep.
And then the El Salvadorian president turned around, and he's making the deal right now. He's currently making the deal with the president of Venezuela for exchanging 252 prisoners for 252 El Salvadorian prisoners that Venezuela has. Now, Trump didn't sign on for that. So that's basically telling Trump, hey, man, thank you for the money. Well, we're going to do what we want to do. You can't tell our country what to do.
Yeah.
And this is making the American president look super weak, because you're dealing with basically a third world country in El Salvador. It is not a major country. It's not a major country. And you're being basically hijacked financially by El Salvador. How the El Salvadorian president is getting the best of our president.
Right.
You can try to spin that however you want to spin it, but ask yourself this question: are we paying for them to take our people that we sending over there, or are they paying us for us to send them over there? The answer is, as is being reported, which I found out, we're paying them. You see, we're paying them. And do we have any people that we're holding our prisoners from El Salvador over here? We're sending them people over there.
Yeah.
We're sending them over there.
Yeah.
For a fee.
Yeah.
Come on, man. He's charging us. We're sending them when we should be charging him for them being here.
Yeah.
Because he knew they were here. Come on now. America, make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
But this is why we put the label up there. God is using Trump. He's using Trump to show us the dangers of American ignorance.
Yes.
This everything ties in together here today. They always do. We have perfect segues. Thank God for that.
Mm-hmm.
The American state today, condition today, where we are right now, is one that is rooted and grounded in complete and utter ignorance.
Yes.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
No.
That interview, and you talked about it. People, when he say please, and I say please, 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 bless your soul, and watch that interview. It was with ABC, right?
Yeah, ABC.
Watch that ABC. And what did the dude named Peter Moran, I think it was.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about his name, but it was a dude, and I think his last name was Moran. And in that interview, from the door, the president of the United States was in a whole different world. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch that interview and hear what the president was saying, you'd be like, what country is he talking about?
I know. Yeah.
What America is this guy living in?
Yeah. He was so into pushing his agenda across in the interview that it was crazy to see. He was dictating to the interviewer what he was doing and how he was being a success as the president. So he want to push that issue across to the interviewer and even insult the interviewer while he doing it.
That was crazy.
It was crazy.
That was crazy.
I couldn't believe it.
My man said, I never heard of you.
Yeah.
I decided to give you a chance. I decided to give you a shot.
He insulted the network. He said, well, by the way, ABC is the worst. I was like, what? How you sitting there and get interviewed by him then? I said, why you ain't go to Fox? Why you ain't go to the person you like?
It's crazy. And the thing, but here's the thing that I'm Lord God, thank you. Because you're showing us the dangers of being hooked on misinformation, so much so that you're using it to justify wrong positions. And in that interview, may the Lord bless the interviewer's soul. He was trying to respectfully correct the president of the United States of America. He was trying respectfully to help the president of the United States receive the revelation that God was sitting right in his lap. Not the interviewer's lap, Trump's lap. He said, Mr. President, he has tattoos that some could interpret to be that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right.
The president was like, no, if you've seen the picture, it had MS-13 clearly written on his knuckles.
Yeah, on his knuckles. And who we talk about? Let's
Kilmar Garcia.
Yeah, all right. That's who we talk about.
Kilmar Garcia.
He was sent to El Salvador prison.
Yes,
and illegally. Plus,
the Supreme Court.
They admitted they messed up when they
That's the Trump administration admitted they messed up.
Trump administration
Supreme Court 9-0. 9-0 said you have to bring them back. And here's the interviewer. I believe his name was Peter Moran. And he says to the president of the United States of America, that picture is Photoshop.
Photoshop. He said it. He said it. It's Photoshop.
And the president of the United States sat there and argued with that man on that point.
Argued him down.
He got to the point where the president simply said, why can't you just say it is, and we can move on from it. Basically, that's what he said. Why can't you disagree? He was basically saying, why don't you disagree with me?
Yeah.
And thank God that the interviewer didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't.
He stuck to his gun.
He didn't.
Yeah, that's why I got to give the interview.
I got to give him. Come on, give some hand claps for that brother. Can we give some hand? Matt, wake up, Matt. Can we give the hand claps on that, man?
All I can say
for the
is
interview?
I give that interview.
Thank you, sir. Hand claps. Thank
you. Utmost respect for that, man, because he did his job.
He did his job, and he did it with dignity and respect.
Yeah.
I mean, because I know if that had been me, I'd have been like Steve Harvey on Family Feud, tossing them cards.
My thing is also.
Like, are you serious?
Also, because the interview even said, he said, well, when he got to El Salvador, they wasn't on his knuckles. I'm like, what they buzzed him off? How they do that?
In that picture, they got it. And then when
you get to El Salvador,
when you look at the picture, the MS-13 is basically what somebody put up there to translate the tattoos on his knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an erroneous translation, by the way. It's a definitely an erroneous translation, because you got marijuana leaves on one of the knuckles, right? Followed by a cross, right? Or it's a plus sign. And then the last knuckle I think they have a skull on the end. How do you get MS-13 out of that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
how do you get MS-13 out of that?
He said you translated like that. The interview said you translated like that.
He said it can be. Some has translated it.
Yeah, he said I don't translate. He said, I'm not expert.
He said, I don't do that.
He said, I'm not expert on that too.
And this is why I say God is using Trump. Yeah. He's using Trump to show us the importance of education and not walking in a pride that is steeped in selfishness, arrogance, and proud ignorance. I think God is using Trump to show us the dangers of ignorance in America. Because when he stood in a recent, even more recent interview, he was talking about how everything was down in America. Economy, energy costs are down, gas is down, price of groceries is down. He was talking about how everything is down. And when you look at this recent interview he did, even after this, because you know what, I gotta say this about Trump. Would love him, hate him, whatever. One thing you can't deny, you can't dismiss, this is a fact. Trump has given more interviews than any other president in American history, including Obama. Obama was good with his interviews. Obama was good with his interviews. But Trump has surpassed, I think, by double digits. I could be wrong, but I think he has surpassed every president's interview by double digits. I think he is the most interviewed president or interview giving president in the history of America, modern American presidency, hands down. So say what you want to say about him. That's an accomplishment. He did that. The problem is, like you said, from the door, lies
from the door.
Lies. Now he's trying to blame Biden for his mess. For those of you who don't understand the process of the American presidency, what is the normal, typical, standard operational procedure for policies in America where we assign them to presidents? What is the standard operational procedure that we always talk about? How does it go? The first 2 years of every incoming president, those policies and the state of the country usually falls upon the preceding president. Fact, right? Now, the reason why that does not apply in this situation is because Trump did something that broke the standard operating procedures. He definitely did this. Number one, he initiated executive orders. Number two, now that's not uncommon. Here's what's uncommon. This is number two. When he initiated executive orders, he gave a time stamp on. He put a time limit on them. Most executive orders don't come with a time limit. They don't come with a time. He put a time limit on these executive orders. Number two, Number 3, not only did he do that, but he went out and he began immediately removing personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Obama didn't do it. George Bush Jr., George Bush Sr., Reagan, Clinton, none of the other presidents did that. Immediately began removing personnel from governmental offices.
Governmental offices and agencies.
And agencies that could stand to refute or challenge, the same thing, his policies. That could stand and hinder his executive orders from being immediately executed. Right? None of the other presidents did that. So that right there sets Biden off as he's exonerated. Whatever happens from this point on is all on Trump. Those are the 3 things that happen that you can't say this is Biden's economy.
Nope.
Because this is not Biden's economy. This is what Trump did. This is what Trump did. Trump did not inherit a mess.
Nope.
He said the same thing when he got into office after Obama. I inherited a mess. That was a lie. We said that in the last podcast, another podcast. Real quick.
It is a lie.
God is showing us that you can't break from the standards to establish your own set of standards that are not designed to benefit the nation as a whole. You see what I'm saying? His standards are not designed to benefit the nation as a whole because it's separating Republicans and Democrats. And guess who's getting caught up in the middle? Us independents. We're getting caught up in the middle of this. Obama had Republicans in his cabinet. He had Republicans in offices and agencies, like you talked about, of the government that were there from his predecessor. The same thing with Biden. Some of the people that Biden had in office and agencies and over the authority of the agencies in the government were put in place by Trump. Right? Yeah. So this is God using Trump to show us we're not walking in the education of the spirit. We're not walking in spiritual education. We're walking in spiritual ignorance. Check this out. Trump is rolling back desegregation policies that were put in place to safeguard against segregation and racism returning to the country. Now, his rationale is dangerous because his rationale is they were never needed in the first place.
Yeah. That's how he pushing his agenda. We never needed them in the first place. Now, these are some of the let me let you know something, because you hit on something a few minutes ago. The government agencies that he focused on through this first 100 days. USDI, he cut 10,000 people, and that's like 99% confirmed cuts. You know what I'm saying? And one of the other ones is Voice of America. It cut 13,000. Well, no, not 13,000, 1,300 confirmed cuts. American Corp, he cut 650. The Education Department, 1,380 confirmed cuts. Health and Human Services, 20,000 confirmed cuts. Energy, the energy is 1,000 cuts. And the IRS, 7,320 cuts from the IRS. These are the most of the 100 days, the most government agencies he's targeted. And so that's 99%. It works out to 99% for the USDI, USAID, Voices of America, 99%. American Corps, that's 93%. Education, 43%. Health and Human Services, 24%. Energy, 13%, 13% of IRS. But all these people no longer working. Now they had a town hall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you knew about this. They had a town hall on MSNBC. 100 Days of Trump.
Okay.
And it's focused on the federal agencies that people who got fired from the federal agencies.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a town hall, and they invited most of the town hall, all the people that got fired and who's willing to speak out against Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another one I advise everybody to watch. You can catch that on MSNBC and watch that. I think Cory Booker was a guest on there. I didn't finish watching it. I started watching it before I even started when I came here. Started watching it, and there's a lot. They interviewed at least 5 people from the jump.
Okay. Before they even started it.
Yeah, when they started it, as they started the town hall, they interviewed 5 people in different departments of agencies. There was a guy from the National Park Agency. His dream job, his name was Peter Peterson. He was a National Guard service. He was a former park guard.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he said he's no longer working there. You had Alicia Elman. She's at Board of Education. She's, I think, in Buffalo, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And she worked for the Veterans Affairs in Buffalo. She no longer worked there. She's out.
Mm-hmm.
You got this girl, Candy Murphy. She works for the let me blow this up. I done did something. That's my thing. Focus up here.
Focus.
All right. Well, she let me see where she at. Oh my goodness, I can't get to it now. Well, Candy was the education. She's with the Board of Education.
It's Board of Education. Wow, we still have that? We still have a Board of Education?
Okay, Candy Murphy, former administration office, CHIPS, operations department. You know what CHIPS are? These are the people who are in charge of the manufacture of the little chips.
Okay.
And the computers and stuff.
All right.
She was in charge of that. She was in the administration of the federal government going overseas and coming in, export, import. Mm-hmm. And that's what Trump basically wanted. And she got canned. She was saying she was surprisingly
she's shocked that she got
fired. She was shocked she got fired. She thought she was good because that's what they needed.
This guy is producing so much chaos, confusion, and just sheer uncertainty, purity and unadulterated uncertainty. It is becoming a problem because one thing you know about man is man has a problem with uncertainty. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest, people. We like to be in control of things. We do not like to not have control over things. And so everybody is saying the same thing about what this president is doing is he's installing a system that is undependable. You cannot, it's unreliable. You cannot rely on this president's ability to govern, which if this was Joe Biden, you already know what they'd be saying. Mm-hmm. But that's that Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. That's all. He's clearly unfit to be president.
Yeah, old timers.
If this was Barack Obama, you already know what they'd be saying.
Oh yeah,
he got to go.
Yeah,
we need to impeach him and remove him from office right now. Mm-hmm. But again, this is Trump, and Trump did something that broke from what all the other previous presidents before him has done, which was he went in and he started removing people out of their place where they can conflict with him, argue against him, challenge him,
DEI,
right? Reject him and refuse him to be obedient to him. Mm-hmm. He started putting people who are straight up yes men, yes men, yes women. Forget the fact that is destroying the country. These people that he's putting around him are people he's putting around him because he want to make sure that he gets what he wants to get done. So you cannot put this on Biden anymore. And because it's failing, God is using Trump to show us what a person who does not accept responsibility for their own actions look like.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deny that, America. Anytime you would take and pass these tariffs, knowing that they are going to destroy certain aspects of the economy and the social working class, right? Yeah. In this country, you know that they're going to hit the working class people. You know it. That's one of the reasons why he didn't want Amazon to put the cost of the tariffs on the item that the people were buying. Mm-hmm. But guess what China said they're going to do? China said, we're going to put those costs up there. Mm-hmm. So everything we order that's coming from China is going to come with the tariff costs on it. That's right. Can't punk China like you punk Jeff Bezos. You can't. Right? What you going to do? Yeah. Stop telling people to stop ordering from China? American people going to be like, listen, man, we can't get that product here. We talked about this at one of our podcast sessions. Yeah. The products that we came to depend on, that we came to rely on, that we came to trust, because they're coming from a company that's supplying quality. Mm-hmm. Now, where are you going to get that same quality at that same type of price in America? Come on, man. You know that this is America. We want money.
That's right.
We want you to pay us for our services.
Yeah.
Right? If it takes us 20 minutes and it takes the people in China 10 minutes, we still going to charge you more.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at it from our rationale is it took us more time. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Here's a flip on that. Here's a kick. Even if it takes us less time, we're going to charge you more than we're going to charge to come from China. Why? We're going to claim better quality, easier access. You ain't got to wait for it to come overseas from China. Even though a lot of stuff that come over from China, you can get the same day.
But you know China is pushing the issue where you can order directly from China.
Yep.
Now. What you ain't gotta wait for it to come over the booth. You can order directly from them and they'll ship it to you. So that's what they pushing now. Yeah. They say no fear, just order directly from
China.
Cut out the middleman.
Cut out the middleman. Yeah. So if it's cutting out the middleman, guess what? Mm-hmm. That means that the president's tariffs are going to fail even worse than they're already failing. Mm-hmm. Now, we talked about the $15 billion import success of the tariffs. Raise $15 billion from customs. That's good. That's, you can applaud that. But 1.31, that's $1.31 trillion that this president has cost the American economy. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Do the math, people. So God is using this president to show us the importance of not walking in this ignorance that is dominating America. He's at the forefront of that. He's rolling back long-standing civil rights laws. Mm-hmm. With like you said,
they're trying to eliminate it.
He has this rationale where they should never been in place in the first place. There's a reason why they were in place. Mm-hmm. And I look at it like this. And I'm going to get in trouble for this because as a Christian, we probably shouldn't be talking about shows like The American Gods. Okay. There's cartoons, animated shows. You ever see the shows and the cartoons and all that stuff where they have the demon and the demon has been confined in chains, right? Mm-hmm. And then the demon has somebody that's willing to free him, right? And so they promise the person that's willing to free him, they're going to do this for him, they're going to do this for him. So this is where this is just how I see it. And Trump is trying to free that spirit, to allow that spirit to break free from the chains that has it confined, so that it can go back and wreak havoc again like it was before. That's how I see this thing. And I think that if you're paying attention to history, that's a very real possibility. You see?
Yeah.
Because this is not the first president to start rolling back civil rights laws or start taking civil rights intended laws off the books.
Mm-hmm.
So there's other presidents who did that. And we're seeing the damage that they did. Trump is in that situation. And that interview, it just explained so much, it exposed so much that if we look at it and going into the scripture, we'll find that's a real spirit, because this is not just a physical thing, people. We are dealing not just with the physical war that we have.
This is spiritual.
This is a spiritual warfare that we're dealing with. And you got to understand that a lot of the laws that we're seeing to have passed, one of the reasons why the Democrats were defeated was because they were passing those laws, again, spiritual warfare. Mm-hmm. They were passing these laws that were kind of allowing the spirit of immorality
mm-hmm.
to grow in the country. Everybody deserves rights, but some rights that we have need to be put at a cap. You agree with that? Some laws that we have need to be put at a cap.
Yeah.
The right to pursuit of happiness, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, those things we're all in agreement with. Mm-hmm. But when you start making demands that your lifestyle be acknowledged and it's interfering with my rights, you got to cap that, man. Mm-hmm. You got to put a cap on that. That's dangerous, because there's a lot of unstable people in this country, people. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, have we gotten to the point where in other nations, the dude that wanted to live his life out as a dog, we haven't gotten to that point in this country. But I don't think we're that far away.
Live his life out like a what?
As a dog. He wanted to live his life out as a dog. He got the whole costume and everything with the dog hair and everything. Mm. And he crawls around all fours out in public and all that stuff. And I'm like,
you probably already there at that point.
You think we already passed it? No.
I think we already there.
So God is using Trump to show us that if we're not careful, man, we will get there. You got people talking about marrying their pets. You got people that's talking about marrying trees. We got people, come on, man. At some point in time, I don't disagree with Trump on something.
Sure, we got people who left dogs and all their money.
Right.
They passed away, left the dog.
All their money. All their money. How you gonna leave your dog? Millions of dollars you left it to the dog.
The dog that can't speak a lick of English. What are you gonna do with the money?
What that dog gonna do with all that money? That dog has no need for that money. But again, God is using Trump.
Yeah, using it
to show us.
To show us, yes.
How not to carry ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what I got from that interview.
Yeah.
The fact that he stood there and he lied like he lied. Well, first of all, me, you, everybody in TV land in America, we already are familiar with his lies and his propensity to lie. He is unique in his ability to lie like it's nothing.
Oh, yeah.
But when you have Christians who support him doing the same thing, lying like it's nothing, lying unconsciously.
Yeah, and it's almost like he pushing that lie to being true. He'll push it so hard, so strong, and be firm on it that he's trying to convince you that it's true. And that's the crazy part right there.
Dangerous.
It's dangerous because people will be like,
yeah,
that's true.
That's true.
I'm like, people, he's good at it too.
Very good.
Yo, Trump is good. I ain't gonna lie to you. He good at pushing his lie.
That's
to perceive being true.
Was it Hitler that said that? Tell a lie long enough and big enough.
Yeah.
The people eventually will
believe it. Yeah.
I don't know if that's Hitler or not that said that.
I don't know if it was Hitler.
Whoever said that, they were right on point with that, because that's what Trump is doing.
That's what Trump is doing.
Trump
I was like, yo,
is directly responsible.
I heard co-workers of mine say, yeah, they and it. I almost blew up, but I said, you know what? It's just ignorance.
There you go.
They tried to tell me. Now they were saying Michelle Obama is a man. I was like, is she crazy?
But see, again,
and I'm like,
that's the
I'm
problem.
like, come on, man. I was like, is y'all serious?
Come on now.
I said, you gonna push that? I said, really?
Mm-hmm.
I said, you really gonna push that?
And they are.
And I said,
they believe that.
I said, I don't know. And then
you know what? Trump told him that.
And then he said that. Then we was talking about because one of the other coworkers.
Well, maybe he didn't say that. I don't know who said that, but it came from the far right. Definitely came from the right.
But then as the conversation went along, one of those combated that and said, well, this guy is a convicted, he's been convicted of 34 felonies.
Was it 34?
34. Convicted and became president. How did that happen? How you gonna say it? And then he said based on the convictions and everything, he said that Trump, he said now Trump had not even the 34, but he had sex with a porn star on top of that.
Star?
Yeah.
I don't give her a star.
She was a porn star.
No, I can't.
She was a porn star.
I don't call anybody in the porn industry a star.
But I don't care what you say. That's what they do it here.
First of
all, they call that here a porn star. She was a star. Oh. Yeah. I don't care if you don't call it that, but that's what they call it.
I don't think anybody.
But this is my thing. He cheated on his wife, and then one of the guys mentioned that. He said, "Is that a bad thing?" I said, "Are you serious?
Cheating on your wife is not a bad thing."
Really? Said, yo, is you serious?
He said cheating on his wife is not a bad thing.
He said
he was implying that in his response.
Sex with the porn star
is not a bad thing.
Is not a bad thing.
Even though
he was implying.
Even though he was cheating on his wife.
Right.
See? See the danger?
That's pushing.
That's the danger.
Yep. That's the danger.
You're looking at this. Mm-hmm. You're missing this.
Yeah.
You're looking at this right here.
That's the danger.
You're missing at this.
That's the danger we talking about right there. Because these guys are Trump lovers.
Oh my goodness,
Trump.
We said that so many times. I put that on every format of media, social media that I could be on. That it's disappointing. And as a Christian, you should never in your life fall in line with somebody that lies on that level. Mm-hmm. To such an extent where you yourself cannot understand the damage that lies can do. Mm-hmm. Let me say that again. You should never fall in line, as a believer in Christ, you should never fall in line with somebody that lies on that level.
That's right.
To such a point where you yourself refuse to understand, let alone understand the damage that lies can do.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So being that that's the case with Trump, God is using him to show us that this is what happens when you allow ignorance to dictate and to dominate your life, because your pride will not allow you to see the revelation of God. The Holy Spirit is designed. One of its jobs to do is to what? Lead us and guide us into all truth.
All truth.
You need to really take a good look at John chapter 8, verse 44. Come on, man. We got to really, John 8:44. He was a murderer from the beginning because he abode not in truth. What does the word say? What does it say? He didn't abide in the truth. He can't abide in the truth. He can't accept the truth. The truth is not in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks of his own self because he's the father of lies. Are you understand what I'm saying? So the Holy Spirit is designed to lead and guide us to all truth. That means the truth, not his truth, her truth, your truth, my truth, our truth, their truth. It's the truth. Yeah. I don't know if they still do it today because I'm not really going to call it like that. But once upon a time, they used to say in courts when you stood up in the stand to
put your hand on
the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth,
the whole
truth,
and nothing but the truth?
So help you God. It didn't say, do you swear to tell the truth? Do you swear to tell her truth or his truth? Do you swear to tell your truth? No, it says, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth? So help you God. Yeah. Now I don't know if they still do that.
I think they still do.
But
before
I hope they do.
Yeah, before you testify.
I hope they still do that. That was a good thing, because listen, if you got a conscience, that should hit you.
It should.
It should. But again, This is God using the president to tell us some things. God uses everything to give us a message. And that's one of the messages about being honest and telling the truth. Which brings us to our honest review of the movie Sinners.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I like the movie.
I did too.
I like the movie. I thought it was a good movie. Michael B. Jordan. I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know where he goes from here.
Why, you think he was that good or that bad? What?
He was good. He was good in that role. Both roles as of brothers. He played twins. And the cinematography was outright phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't win an Academy Award for cinematography, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I said that about The Penguin, and he won an award for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that whole writing and acting for the Penguin series, top notch. This was good.
Yeah, it was good.
This was a very good movie. Everybody talk about the little Easter eggs and the little hidden meanings and the symbols and all that, but I shared this with you before. I'm gonna share it with everybody now.
Now listen, let's get this. Now, if you ain't seen the movie, just get ready. We about to spoil it. Spoiler. Yeah.
Everybody was talking about the genre, being the blues, and how the blues carries in, and they talked about the many different morals of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some good. There's a lot of good themes in the movie. There's a whole lot of themes in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of moral stories. But there's one thing concerning the main object in the movie that nobody else that I've heard had talked about.
Yeah.
So you're hearing it here, straight from us.
Yeah.
And that was the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Now you hear people on different YouTube channels talk about the guitar, but you don't hear them say this.
Mm-hmm.
What was the ultimate point of that guitar?
Mm-hmm.
What was it? It wasn't the blues and the style that he was playing on the guitar, right? They said that the guitar belonged to Charlie Patton, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we find out in the movie it didn't.
Yeah.
So who did that guitar belong to?
Smoke and Stack's father.
And he was what?
Evil man.
He was an evil man.
He was an evil man.
So you got a kid coming up who has a gift, a musical ability, God-given, using an instrument, demonic at its core, right? To play a genre of music that could be interpreted either way. Because you don't have to use the blues for evil. You can put some spiritual music, some spiritual lyrics to blues. It ain't necessarily the genre of music that's evil. It's the lyrical content, right, or the intention behind the song itself. Because some music was created to design to produce a certain type of atmosphere. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that you really got to pay attention to, because the story of Smoke and Stack's father is interwoven throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. And they mention different parts of the life and the relationship in the movie. Mm-hmm. Well done.
Yeah, it was well done.
Well done.
When you put that point out, because we talked about this early in the week, like after you saw it. Mm-hmm. So you brought that point out to me, and I ain't never think about it. It didn't occur to me about the guitar itself, because I was more into their cousin singing, his ability to conjure up future and past genres of music because of how he said. Because in the beginning they talked about
that's what they
talked
your
about
focusing
that.
on that.
Yeah. You put your focus on that, and then what they said was it attracts all that, but it also attracts evil. So that's when I was like, oh. So when they did that scene when he was in the juke joint,
right?
He's in the juke joint singing, and then you had all these different genres of music, hip hop, African music. They even had Asian, Japan music. They even had Irish music come up. All them genres and all that music in the atmosphere of him singing. Yeah, that was done lovely, by the way. And it was that's what made me think it was more him than the guitar. Mm-hmm. That's what made me think it was more him
than the guitar.
Yeah, he had that spirit.
Than the object. Yeah. He had that spirit.
He had that spirit.
He had that gift.
Yeah, that gift to conjure up all these other different just in his voice. But see, I didn't think about the guitar.
Right. Because what I got from that whole scene was there was one constant throughout the scene. When he talked about the different eras, different periods of in genres of music, and the people that had the gift, there was one common denominator in all of them. It was an object. Remember, in that scene, he was playing the guitar. And then they showed the girl that was twerking. That was a custom, that was a style, that was a dance at the time. But you don't twerk to any and everything. You twerk to a certain style of music. And then when they had the guitar, the George Clinton dude, the Parliament Funkadelic guy with the electric guitar, he had the guitar. And then you had the African people dancing. You had the drums. Then you had the other African people dancing. They had a mask. You had the Chinese people. They had the mask. Another Chinese person had the fan. So you had all of these different genres. And the Irish people, well, when they were dancing, they showed the photos of them. They had the little guitar there too. He was singing.
Banjo type.
Right. Banjo. So all of that right there let us know that there's something equating to greatness musically. There's a talent, but the talent don't rest on its own. There's an object that's being used to channel it. And in this case, and in this movie, it was the guitar. And here's what I got from one of the crucial scenes. That was one of the most powerful scenes in the movie. When the father said, "Let go of the guitar," it's almost as though his hands gripped the guitar even tighter. Like so tight, like you would think that thing was going to break. It was already busted and broken.
Right.
And he wouldn't let it go.
Right.
Keep that in mind, people. The father is saying, "Let go of the guitar." And the guitar is busted and broken, and he's holding just a part of he wouldn't let it go.
The arm of the guitar. That's what he had, because the other part was enlarged.
He wouldn't let it go.
The guy's head.
Powerful scene. Says a lot.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I got from the movie that a lot of people don't talk about is, okay, sometimes in the battle of good versus evil, evil wins out.
Yeah.
Evil wins out. Another thing, moral of the story in the movie is sometimes to defeat evil, you got to be willing to sacrifice your own life. And we saw that. And there's many more themes that we're going to talk about throughout the course of the summer, because, we're going to probably talk about this movie until it hits, TV. It was that good. I'm serious.
It was good.
It was that good. And that's why I said, I don't know where Michael B. Jordan goes from here. I mean, everything he has acted in so far has produced solid numbers. I don't know where he goes from here. What would you like to see him play?
You know what? I don't know. I would love to see him play like maybe a Bond type or Ethan Hunt type movie.
Oh yeah.
A detective. You know what I'm saying? Or a secret agent.
Oh yeah, detective, secret. I would love to see that.
I would love to see that.
Like kind of that Mission Impossible type character.
Yeah. From that perspective,
bro, that would be
because I think he's smooth enough to do it.
Yeah, he can pull that off.
Michael B. Jordan is smooth enough to do that. He can smooth because he can get dressed up when he want to. You know what I mean?
I would love to see him do a kind of like a noir type film. That going back to the 20s and 30s type detective. Oh, bro, I saw Devil in a Blue Dress with Denzel.
Yeah,
I would love to see him do something like that.
Yeah.
Because that movie with Denzel was a good movie.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good movie.
That was
but
good.
To have Michael B. Jordan play the main character, he's a detective.
And that, what?
That had to be.
You know what I loved about Devil in the Blue Dress?
What is that?
That was when my boy Mouse came.
Oh yeah. Don Cheadle.
Cheadle came and said, "Yo, you know how to put money. You know how to put your money in the Joker's pocket."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah."
Don Cheadle was like, say the word and it's done.
It's done. Mouse kill you first. I asked question left. He said, yo, in that movie, he said, why you leaving with me? You wanted to stay alive? Why you leaving with me? I said, he said, you Mouse, stay here and watch what's his name. He's like, I ain't
why you wanted me if you want to stay alive?
If you want him to lie. He said, yo, where? I forgot to do his name. He said, where you at? He said, he over there. I said, Mouse, you killed me. What you
want? That was crazy.
I was rolling.
You want him to stay alive? Why you?
You want to stay alive? Why you leaving with me? I'll shoot you, boy. I'll shoot you first and be like, well, what happened?
And that's another good actor, Don Cheadle.
Yeah, Don Cheadle.
That's another good actor, man.
He's another good one.
I follow his work. He's good at what he does. Mm-hmm. Don Cheadle, Denzel Washington. Now this young brother here, Michael B. Jordan, is another generation.
In that same class, man.
He's taking over for this generation here.
I think he could. I would love to see him like what you call it, like secret agent, where he has all the gadgets that he needs.
Bro, can you imagine that?
To get his mission accomplished? I'd be like, yeah.
Because he got the making.
Yeah.
In the movie Sinners, when you see how he laid out the strategy to go against the Klan.
Yeah.
Even though at the end, he sacrificed his life at the end for it. He stayed to the end to fight them all. When you see how he laid out the strategy, I can see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I can see, brother.
Yeah.
He has.
That's why I said like a James
he not only has the physical ability to pull off the James Bond type character.
Yeah.
He has the mental. He has the mental capacity.
Yeah.
He has the thought process.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he was following the movie in the script, you look at all his movies.
Yeah.
In all of his movies that he's been in, except for the Fantastic Four when he played Johnny Blaze.
Yeah.
He had a strategy.
I brought that on there.
He had a strategy. His characters always had some kind of intellect, some kind of ability to think on their feet, right? To put a plan together and put it in motion and execute it. And in a movie like where he's playing a detective, he would have to he can't be a dumb detective.
Nah.
Bro, that's a hot. I would pay to see that.
Yeah,
I would go to.
I pay to see that.
I would go to see that.
I enjoy Michael B. Jordan. So it happened to both of us today, right?
Yeah, that's on mine.
I ain't cut mine off.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, the movie itself is good, and you took your points from the movie. I took my points from the movie. We're gonna let you take your points. Go see it.
Yep, go see it.
Go see it.
It's worth the money.
Yeah, it is.
It's worth the money. If you ain't already seen it, see it. Look at it. Now, one other question before we leave.
Shut down. Yeah.
What you think about the end of the movie? Because me and Matt was talking before you came in.
Matt saw the movie?
Yeah, Matt saw the movie.
Matt, you saw that? All right, Matt.
Yeah, we were talking about it. He said he didn't quite understand the ending.
Oh, with
when he came
Sammy as the old man?
Yeah, because I don't know if Matt understood that was Stacks.
Yeah, that wasn't Smoke, that was
Stacks.
Yeah.
At the end with his girl.
Yeah.
And,
Matt.
Yeah. It was with her and they came back and he was like, how you survive? Because that's what the old dude said.
Well, okay.
What's the cousin's name again?
Sammy.
Sammy said, he said, how'd you survive? Because he was like, well, Smoke gave me the opportunity. He said, if I made a deal with him,
I'll let you live.
He let you live if you let him live his life out. Let Sammy live his life out. Don't mess with him.
Because he had him dead to rights.
Yeah.
He had him dead to rights.
And I thought he ended him until that scene came.
The funny thing about how Mary survived was Mary ran through the woods. She ran through the fields.
Yeah.
And she hid in one of the neighboring homes until night came.
Yeah.
Here's how Stack survived. They were fighting in the barn, right? Remember when the Klan came to try to get into the barn, everything was locked up. It was broad daylight, and they locked everything up. The reason why Smokes locked everything up because Stack was in there. Stack was in the barn.
You know, I ain't even realized that. Yeah, because they never made it inside the barn.
It's broad daylight, so if they would have made it inside that barn and been able to get Stack out in the sun, they would have been able to kill them.
Yeah,
they'd been able to kill them. Because their whole intention, if you pay attention to that scene, when they came in, they said they're going to skin them an N-word.
Yeah.
I'm going to skin me an N-word.
Yeah.
And if you still think that N-word is a term of endearment, hey man, God bless you. I'm going to continue to pray for you because it's definitely not.
Yeah.
I don't know when our people are going to get that revelation because
Because again,
that's sad.
At the end of that,
again, the importance of the damage that ignorance can do in America. Go ahead, man.
But at the end of that movie, when he sniffed them, you saw Stack sniff.
Yeah, he said, "You don't have long to live.
You ain't got long. You ain't got long." He said, "I could change that." I was like, "What?" He said, "I could change."
But I love Sammy's response.
Yeah,
he's like, "Nah, that's all right.
That's all right."
We're paraphrasing, but if you see the movie, we apologize.
Yeah, watch it to the end because there's that little clip at the end that we're talking about.
There's 2 clips at the end.
Yeah,
that part that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And again, what I say, one of the morals of the story was that sometimes good does not overcome evil. Sometimes evil win out because the pull on the individual is too straight, too strong, too great.
Right.
A lot of times, let me say this, and then we can shut this down. A lot of times, one of the reasons why that is because you've connected yourself to something, or you've hooked yourself into accepting something that is wrong, but you can't let it go because you're getting too much pleasure out of it for yourself. Even though it's wrong, you're getting too much pleasure out of it for yourself, and it's hard to let it go. When you're in that situation, you'll continue on a path until destruction is not only imminent, but it's obvious. And at that point where it becomes obvious, this is the beauty of God. He still hits you with the option. Let go of it now. Let go of it now. Your destruction, all this time, you couldn't see your destruction coming because you were just the joy you was getting from this thing that you're doing that's wrong. And then when you see your own destruction being faced right in front of your eyes at that moment in time, keep in mind, it's always been there, but now it's to a point where it's obvious. Here's the love of God. He still gives you an option. Let it go now.
Yeah.
Let it go now. Let it go now. And you get to that point in your life where you say, you know what? Unfortunately, some people, they say, you know what? There's nothing I can do now. I'm going to continue on this path.
Right.
I'm going to let this destruction overtake me.
Right.
How many times do we see that in our society where people who get caught up in the drug game start becoming drug dealers or pimps or prostitutes, and they feel as though they get to a certain point in life where God hits them with that option. Come on and get out of it. And they say, you know what? This is all I know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and continue down this path until the end. And yet the love of God is saying, I got you. Just step out on faith. Trust me. I can help you turn your life around.
Yeah.
And the issue with Sammy, I said I like his answer because he got to that point where he said, you know what? I'm not going to let this destruction take me into this level of destruction.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and live out my life because I'm at the end of my life.
Yeah.
So that was his choice to not side with the evil because look, if he let this guy's Stack turn him into a vampire, he's going to have to feed.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
You see?
You got to eat some lives.
It's a movie, people.
Yeah.
It's a movie. But we're talking about real life situation.
Yeah.
Where God loves us so much that we still have to make that decision. And in the movie, the decision was not fair.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with that. So he's already doing something, but here's the thing that I got from that. He's of old age. if you see the last and final clip in the movie, his relationship with God was still there.
Yeah, it was still there.
He's just playing the blues. Now, that's not to say he's not going to turn around and play some gospel blues.
I know, right?
That's not to say that. So we can take that from that. But at the same time, Smoke made his choice.
Yeah.
He made his, Smoke made his choice. He took his path. Stack.
He made his choice. Well,
was it though? Was it really his choice?
It really was his choice. But at the same time, because he got stole. Really, he got tricked into it because not even
because of Mary.
Yeah, because of Mary. Mary bid him and turned him.
Right.
And I think that was her mission from the beginning because she loved him so much. Once she turned, I think she still had the love for Stack.
Yeah.
And
they the two were together at the end.
Yeah, they was together at the end. So I don't know. It was all evil. It was all evil.
Vampires are evil.
Yeah.
And that's what Smoke's baby mother has said about vampires. That kind of evil, she said, is a different kind of evil. So you see in that regard, even with Sammy at the end where he had to make that decision.
Yeah.
I look for God moving in almost everything, in just about everything.
Yeah.
Some things you could just look at and say, man, God ain't really in that.
I think we got to keep God in everything that we do.
I believe that.
Yeah, we got to.
I believe that. But some things you could look at and say,
Yeah. I know.
So that's the thing though. But the love of God is always going to be there, and He's always trying to reach us and give us more understanding. Because the word says, "What in all you get an understanding." You can't look at our episode today and not come to some conclusions here. And one of the conclusions you got to come to is that there is a problem with ignorance in America. Because not because we told you, but we kind of like shared some information and opened your eyes. Look, pride is high in this country, and it's a problem. And ignorance sometimes is tied to that pride. Case in point, that interview, y'all watch that interview.
Yeah, that's how I was going to end the show. If you ain't seen the interview, ABC, looking up on ABC, the interview with Trump. Also,
and be honest, be open and honest about it. Don't sit there and be biased. If you don't like Trump, sit there and say, "Yeah, see, I told you, I knew it." No, actually listen, because I guarantee you, if you're honest and you're open and you watch that interview, you're not going to hate Trump. You're going to feel sorry for him. And if you're a Trump supporter, and you sit there and you watch that Trump interview, and you're open and you're honest, you're not going to sit there and be angry with the interviewer. I think it's Pete Moran. You're not going to be angry with NBC or CNN.
He did a good job.
ABC or any other what you call a quote unquote mainstream media personnel.
He did it.
You're not going to be angry with him because you're going to see that the man was actually trying to do it, like you said, a great job. He did a great job. And you're not going to be mad at the organization. You're going to sit there and listen to your president, the president of the United States, who is Donald Trump. And you're going to sit there and you're going to hear for yourself a lot of things you're going to squirm a little bit if you're a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
You're going to squirm.
So there's three things I want to just remind you of. That interview on ABC. ABC Live, I think, has it on, and YouTube definitely probably has it. And the MSNBC 100 Days of Trump forced out federal workers. You got to watch that too. That's another one. And last but not least, go see Sinners. Good show. Good movie.
Good movie.
Good movie. Michael B. Jordan. Man.
I don't know where he goes from here.
I think it's up. I know that. I think it's all up.
It's going to be hard to top that one, though.
Yeah, he can do it.
I think he can.
He can do it.
I can't wait for what's coming next from this guy.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it either. So that's it for my co-host here, Ronald McConaughey. For Matt, myself, Sean Wilson.
Matt.
Yo, we
gotta have Matt say something one day. Matt, you gotta come on.
Yeah, you gotta get on the mic one day. We're gonna put a mic.
Don't y'all want to know what Matt look like? Don't y'all want to know? Don't y'all hear Matt? You want to hear Matt?
We're gonna put a mic over there for Matt one day.
We're gonna get Matt involved.
And let him start talking.
Yeah.
Because he got some good ideas.
He do.
you know, and he coming from a younger perspective.
He is.
Yeah, because this old fogey over here, and I'm right behind him.
Hey man, don't talk about yourself like that. Yeah, don't let him talk about himself like that.
To you.
Oh.
But anyway,
you already know what they say about pointing. When you point at one person, you got 4 fingers pointed back at yourself.
So I just say this, man. If you like the content that you watch today and other content, man, subscribe.
Yeah.
Please comment on whatever you see here today.
Yeah.
And past videos, and we'll get back to you.
We definitely will, man.
Man, so we'll see you next week. Open up forum for our people. We out. Peace and love.